Hey, what's up, everybody? Wanted to do this video about any dual sport or single cylinder bike that you have. If you travel for work with it, you always want to carry an extra spark plug, especially because you're not going to make it home. Like if you're in the city in New York, you got to try to make it home. There's no options for motorcycle towing here in Manhattan. Probably could get it if you pay for it. It's probably going to cost you $200. And you're going to be waiting a long time. So basically yesterday I was in Brooklyn working, and my spark plug, I think you probably could, I'd like to hear from other KLR riders, do you take your entire tank off? I couldn't really get to that spark plug with the tools that I had, so I had to take off the side panels, seat, unbolt this but not remove it, just swing it out a little bit, and then I had to shut off the fuel on the petcock and then remove the fuel line here, and then pull the tank, put it on, and then I just laid my motorcycle cover on the ground, and then changed the spark plug, and I was fine. I was good to go. I knew it was a spark plug because these valves were recently done, so if you ever have a problem like with, I could hear the exhaust too, that when I was hitting the starter I could hear the compression in the engine. But if you don't hear any compression at all, then you blew a valve. Don't even bother, just go, just call a tow truck. But if you hear the compression coming out through the exhaust, there's a pretty good chance you either have a problem with fuel or spark. So it could be a carburetor issue or whatever. But if you pull the use the float bowl drain screw here, that's what the first thing I did was unscrew that and make sure the fuel was coming out. So it means there's fuel in the float bowl. If you have fuel in the float bowl, more than likely you might not have a carburetor issue, and then you might have either a stainer problem or a pickup coil or a spark plug. But there's a good chance it's just a spark plug, which I got lucky. I was in Brooklyn, and I always carry an extra spark plug with me, because of that reason. And I went ahead and changed the spark plug, and I was good to go. But one thing I kind of find, I drive the XR, the Honda XR650 during the warmer months, and then this KLR is for when it gets cold, when it gets really cold. And I put a windscreen on the XR, so I can ride that. I have that Rally windscreen, the Zeta windscreen. It's really nice. It actually transformed the bike, but I don't want to load up the bike with too much rough winter miles and salt and all that shit. So I try to put those really rough winter months where there's salt on the ground. I use this bike. And what I noticed, like when I was trying to start the bike, it was backfiring, but really loud, like popping, like you could see like fire on the back end. So when I took the spark plug out, it was sparking. I put it back into the boot and held it against the side of the engine, and when I hit the starter button, I was getting like a white spark instead of orange. Usually want to have like a good orange spark, and it was just like a weak white one. I said, oh shit, I hope I don't have a problem with the pickup coil. But as soon as I put another brand new spark plug, it was bright orange. So I slapped it back in the bike, and the bike started right up. So there's a prime example of where I was able to rescue the day, because I was coming from a service call in Brooklyn, and for me to be dealing with calling tow trucks and fucking around, my day is not only going to be financially gone, but it's going to be hours before a tow truck will come. Sometimes you wait 3 hours for a tow truck here, if you and then they're just going to slap a whole bunch of charges on your credit card. So I don't think you want to deal with that if you don't have to. You tend to try to figure stuff out if you can in the city here, and I was just real happy. But I did notice, like, you know, doing a spark plug on the XR is nothing. You know, like you just lean under there and change the plug. But doing a spark plug on a KLR, I realized it's quite an involved process. You know, like you've got to do, you got to dismount that tank. And it's a big deal. You know, it's not a simple task to change the spark plug on a KLR. It's quite an involved process. I mean, we're not talking about a simple little job. Like, all those fairings you got to take off, dismount the tank, take your seat off. I was a little bit daunted about it. You know, I threw my motorcycle cover down on the ground so they could throw the tank on top of that. That was a good idea. I saw that from another blogger talking about it. He said, you know, if you have your motorcycle cover on the bike, you know, in your box, just throw it down on the ground, put your tank on top. Or if you're near some grass or something, you can do that. But on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd say it's a 6, because you gotta dismount the gas tank and remove your fuel line. I have a gravity feed petcock on this bike because I got rid of all the vacuum stuff, because I actually got stranded in the same place in Brooklyn. I got stranded in Brooklyn because a vacuum line fucked me up. You know, I don't know, you know, what happened, but a vacuum line got removed, accidentally removed, or maybe cracked. I don't know. But I was just taking shit apart and trying to figure it out, and I got home, but you could hear like a vacuum sucking sound every time the bike was running, and it was not a good thing. So yeah, I got stranded from that, so I removed the vacuum lines and put gravity feed petcock, and so I only had one fuel line to remove. But if you have a vacuum system, you're gonna have to remove, you know, your vacuum line to the tank and all that stuff, because it's connected to the petcock. The vacuum line from the carburetor is going to have to come off. So that just complicates even more. So I would have to say, like, that's why I said, some people might say, well, why would you say changing a spark plug is a 6 on a scale of 1 to 10? Only because of that, because there's quite a bit of stuff that you got to take off, fuel lines, stuff like that, you know. And it's quite involved. pretty scared actually, because you know the KLR is a big bike. I'm not going to be able to push it from Brooklyn to Upper West Side. Not that I'd be able to do that with the XR either, but you know, with the XR you could probably get like a friend to tow you or something. But the KLR is a little bit big to be doing shit like that, and it would be like kind of fucked up asking my friend, you know, Ninja 400 to be towing a KLR. It's a big fucking bike, you know, like if something goes wrong and you know he's towing me, he's gonna be lugging a fucking 430, 40 pound whatever bike. Yeah, it's not fun. So definitely not a recommended thing to do. But yeah, you always have to carry an extra spark plug. That's a must on a single cylinder dual sport. Not having a spark plug is a really bad thing, because it doesn't take much to foul a plug up, or you know, plug just goes bad. But I would like to hear from other riders, like, do you take your tank off like to test spark, or do you reach under there and just pull the plug off and shove the extra spark plug in the boot just to test for spark without even taking stuff off? It looks kind of hard to get under there. I don't know if other KLR riders have found like a secret to getting that done. It'd be interesting to know. All right, buddy. I'll see you in the next one.